we're making a lip balm. We're actually making a lip balm batch, and we're playing with a different ratio this time. We did a 1:8 for our salves, and now we're doing a 1:4 for our lip balm. So it's actually less oil for the amount of wax that we're using. So it will be a waxier formula, which works better for lips. The formula is firmer this way because there's going to be more wax to oil. When you're pressing a lip balm onto the lips, you don't want it to be too soft. So we have a higher amount of beeswax. So we're doing a 1:4, and we are going to be filling 7, I have 8 here just to show you this, but we're going to be filling 7 lip balm tubes. I always keep one extra around just in case I have excess at the end of the batch. But these are a pretty standard lip balm tube. They are 0.15 ounces, so it's a very tiny amount. I didn't even convert it to grams. The goal is that I'm just going to make 1 ounce worth of product, and that's going to fill 7 lip balm tubes. So 1 ounce is a very small amount of product. I'm actually not even going to use my double boiler for this one. I've put that little 1 cup Pyrex, and I've put it directly in the hot water here. So I'm going to just be kind of weighing everything into this Pyrex, stirring it all up, and then my pouring container will already be nice and hot. So that's the goal with that. And it's a pretty simple formula. We're going to, of course, be using our infused oils because that's what this course is all about. So we'll be doing a combination of calendula infused oil and gotu-kola infused oil. So they're both really good, healthy skin reparative oils. And also our other base oil or carrier oil is going to be just raw organic coconut oil. Coconut oil I really like on the lips. I don't really use it for any other face care products, but I love it in lip balms. I've decided to use my homegrown beeswax for this project because I'll probably be using a lot of this lip balm just for personal use. I go through a ton of lip balm. I have a very dry constitution. My lips are always dry. And I feel like in the fall and winter months, especially when the air is really cold and crisp and everything's really dry, I go through tons of lip balm. So we're going to do coconut oil and infused oils, equal parts of both of those, and the beeswax that you'll see me grade. So I'm going to take this big chunk of beeswax and I'm going to grate it down with my grater over here. And then we are going to add peppermint essential oil. That's it. You know, I've tried all different essential oils and lip balms. Peppermint is the one that I think is just the most loved by everyone, and it's, you know, you are going to eat this or at least taste it a little bit, so it's something that's familiar to the palate too. You of course do not have to scent your lip balm. You can leave it unscented and just do your infused oils and your carrier oil and your wax, and you'll be good to go. So let's start by grating our beeswax. That's probably the most time-consuming part of this. I have just a regular kitchen grater here and a cutting board. That's what that's called. And I've already started because, as I mentioned in the previous video, with salves, it is time consuming, and so that I don't often do it, but this is kind of a special occasion and I've never had my own homemade wax before, so I kind of had to go with it. So let's take that out of here. It's very loud. Yeah, it definitely doesn't grate like cheese. It's just kind of slow going, and you weigh as you go. Makes a bit of a mess. Now that I've grated the beeswax, I need to weigh it. We are putting 6 grams in this recipe. So it's very fluffy and very light. I turned on my scale with my little container already on it. That way, when the scale turned on, it was at 0. I'm gonna just kind of go for all of it. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty close. Yeah, that's 6 grams right there. Beautiful. Okay. So we have our beeswax all measured out. Now we can measure out our oil ingredients. I'm doing everything in this recipe by weight. So everything is going to be weighed in grams. And it's, I've got my recipe right here, and I've got 12 grams of infused oil and 12 grams of coconut oil. So with the infused oil, I'm just going to do equal parts calendula and gotu-kola. So 6 grams of each to make 12 grams total. Make sure my scale's at 0. Beautiful orange color. Okay, 6 grams. And 6 grams makes 12. Okay, now I'm going to weigh my coconut oil, get a separate container for that, tare my scale, and we're doing 12 grams of coconut oil. That's 13. Okay. As I said, it's a very tiny formula, very small recipe. We're making not very much. So I have my ingredients, my loose oil, my hard oil, and my beeswax. So I'm going to actually put them all in this one container because that is where I will be melting everything. In goes my beeswax. And my coconut oil. And into our hot water. Okay, so now that it's in the hot water, we're going to keep an eye on it. It's definitely going to take a little while for the beeswax to melt, but we're certainly off to a good start. Coconut oil melts really quickly, so that's already pretty much in liquid form now. It helps to break everything up a little bit. But the beeswax melts at a much higher temperature, so that's going to take longer. But unlike the pellets that we used for the salve, this beeswax is even more broken down because it's those nice fine little shavings. So it should be it should melt a little bit faster. So we will come back to this. I will be keeping an eye on this and we will come back to it soon. After we take it off the heat is when we're going to add in our drops of essential oil. And I wanted to mention one thing about grating your own beeswax. So this is actually my kitchen cheese grater. And you can, of course, buy a grater that is devoted to grating wax, but I actually use the same one for both my kitchen use and my cosmetic use. I don't often grate beeswax for products. As you saw, it's laborious, and if you're making large quantities of things, it's pretty much too time consuming and too much energy unless you're really dedicated to that part of the process. But if you are using a cheese grater that you want to then reuse for cheese, you can take this and put it in your oven on low, set it in some sort of dish that's oven safe, and then pull it out once it's all become liquid again, using something to hold it so that it's not burning you, and you just wipe off the excess beeswax with a paper towel, and that pretty much does the trick. So there is a way to clean off your grater after using beeswax with it, but you do have to take care, and usually an oven is the best way. Smells good. Whoop, and there it goes. That perfect moment. There's that moment where you're just about there. This is about when I take it out of the heat because the receptacle is definitely warm enough to get the rest of the product melted. Be right back. Okay, beeswax is one of the, or lip balms are one of those harder things to pour. But before we do that, we need to add the essential oil. So it's definitely good to keep your essential oils to a minimum when you're making topical products, especially products that are going on your face. So I'm only going to use 5 drops of essential oil for this one batch of product. And it's, again, peppermint essential oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be good to pour this quickly because we've got a hot product in here, and that heat is helping those volatile constituents in the peppermint essential oil to evaporate pretty quickly. So in order to keep them in the product, I'm going to want to pour. And lip balms are a little tricky. I like to line them up in a line, and you will make a mess. There will be spillage. So there are fun little tools you can purchase to help with pouring lip balms, but I just go for hand-eye coordination the old school way. And you just fill them to the top. It's going to be close. Yeah, there wasn't really enough for the 7th one. So this batch makes 6 lip balms. I might be able to melt a tiny bit more out of it, but a nice healthy round 6 lip balms, an even number. This is how it goes with making products. I haven't tried this batch yet, so that is why I didn't get quite as much as I wanted. So 1 ounce of product makes 6 lip balms, or a 1 ounce batch makes 6 lip balms if you're using the 0.15 ounce lip balm containers. Yeah, there's not really enough in here to keep going. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We're going to just let these sit. Best not to touch them. If you had a little bit of extra product, like if I had saved what was in this 7th tube, I could have actually topped off all of these 6 tubes here. But one trick you can do with lip balms is, I'll actually show you in a minute. We're going to let this one cool, and we're going to actually screw it out of there and put it back in here, warm it back up, and then top off our 6 with what's left in that tube. So there's always a fun way to play with your recipe to get what you want out of it. But I do find that with the first pour with lip balm, there always ends up being this kind of concave result as they dry or as they solidify. So it is really nice to go back through and top them off. So we'll come back in a moment to check that out. And we're back to check out our half-filled lip balm tube. So this is a fun troubleshooting moment. Even someone like me who makes products all the time always ends up in moments like this where you think this happens a lot, where you create a recipe, you think it's going to make a certain amount of product because the math is there, and then you go and you combine your ingredients and you pour it and it doesn't make enough. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, just like I would with a lip balm, it's kind of fun to actually see what this looks like. You just unscrew it all the way until you get. The one thing about this is you kind of have to waste a lip balm too, but I can always just use this for the next batch if I'm going to use it for home use. Just pop that out of there. Get as much out as you can. Okay, so pretty fun. We've got this nice little blob there. Put that back in the hot water and remelt it. And use it to top off our other balms. Okay, we're moving quick now. And we're there. Pop that out. Okay, I need my towel. And we'll just top these off. Ooh. This is kind of the moment of truth. Where the spillage happens is when you're getting those last few drops in. But if you see what I mean by the concave, that's how they look when you do the first pour. I'm gonna melt this one more time so I can get that last one perfect. There will be enough. I am all about good to the last drop. Also, my Pyrex wasn't hot enough, so it started to seize when it got to the top. Again, with oil products, you'll have to do your first initial cleanup with paper towels. Really fun orange color. I have made this recipe before, just I made a larger batch last time, and I really love the way this looks on the lips. The combination of the coconut and the infused oils makes for a really lovely sheen, kind of lip glossy look that I think you're really gonna like. That one's filled up to the brim. Okay, we got one more to top off here. Will there be enough? Ah, beautiful. Okay, there we go. So I'll let that one harden. And we have 6 beautiful lip balms with nice dome tops because we did that second pour and topped them off. And then I'm missing a top. There we go. If I know I'm going to be making other products with oil, I'll save my paper towels and use them to wipe those products off too. And there's our last one. Voila. Okay. And that concludes our course on lip balms and salves. Enjoy making these products. I am actually going to give you recipes that are for this size batch and a larger batch. So if you want to make for more friends and family, you have that option as well. But you can always just double the numbers on any of the recipes I give you and get a bigger batch that way too. So basically we've taken the concepts we've learned in the first course of infused oils. We've taken those infused oils and we've added wax to them. And that hardens them and makes them more useful in a different way. So whereas using infused oils alone is really lovely, makes for a great body oil, massage oil, here we're taking it to that next level where we're adding it to another ingredient, beeswax, coconut oil, hardening it up and making it more versatile. So we've created new products out of something something special like infused oils. So really when playing with infused oils, the sky is the limit. You can create so many beautiful things, and stay tuned because there's still one more course on how to put your infused oils into bath bombs. Balms and salves. Hope you enjoyed your time.